All right, so Jeremiah 29:13 says, you'll seek me and you'll find me when you seek me with your whole heart. All right, so what that means is whatever you do in life, you got to do it with your whole heart, and God has to be the main focus point of your life, because if God ain't the main focus point of your life, as I've told you on here before, you got major problems if he ain't the focus point. And a lot of times in life, it could be football, it could be work, it could be anything really. A lot of people have the me attitude, but it's time that me focuses on we. We got to be a team. We're all in this together. Eddie Dale at my church always likes to say that we're all in this like a jigsaw puzzle, and it's not about you. Well, that's his famous line. Well, we are in it like a jigsaw puzzle, and Satan, he is looking to devour anybody he can. So listen. You may hear these voices on Friday night that tell you this is about my glory, this is about my individual stats, it's about me. Let me tell you something. The only person that's glory really matters is God. So if you're not glorifying God, I consider you better look in the mirror and find out why you're doing the things you're doing in life, because you got to glorify God. And the devil, he's a big recruiter. He's going to try to recruit you, and he's going to try to tell you anything he can and what you want to hear, basically, to get you to fall into his little spider web trap, or whatever you might say. He wants to throw you in the pit, kind of like Joseph was thrown in the pit in Genesis, one of the chapters in Genesis. His own brothers, folks, sold him into slavery, and that's how the devil works. He'll tell you what you want to hear, and then sit there and laugh in your face when you're in the pit. So listen, glory to God. You got to bring glory to God, and you got to go out and search him out with your whole heart. If you want to win Friday night, glorify God and bring him the glory. Work as a team, and you will be successful. And that's about all I got.
Well, Preacher Paul, I want you to do one thing. We made a set of magnets here for homecoming. Paul's sign shop here. And,
yes, sir.
We had a young man actually wanted a quote from the Bible on one of his magnets, which is saying a lot for a young man.
Praise God, we're getting somewhere.
And I got his magnets hanging on the door over here, and I want you to read that.
Well, the kid's name is Hunter Fault. He's a Mr. Football candidate, and I think he's a senior, correct?
He's a fine young man.
He's a fine young man.
We got a lot of fine young men.
He's a fine young man. He's a senior here at Gordonsville High School. He's going to be in the homecoming. Going to have a car and everything, and a beautiful escort, I'm sure. But anyway, he wanted me to read this Bible verse that says Colossians 3:23. It said, "And whatsoever you do it heartily as to the Lord and not unto men." In other words, you can't be people pleasers. You got to be God pleasers.
That's right.
But that's what he said. And now I might sing y'all a song here in a minute.
Bob, you want to sing for us?
Not that song.
You don't want to sing this song.
I might sing y'all a song, but do I need to do it on this one, or do I need to wait till the show to do the song?
Well, I mean, we're gonna have to edit this out. We can wait till the show.
All right, we'll wait till the show, but I feel like singing a song.
Okay. Well, we'll just wait and have you sing later.
Anyway,
so y'all stick around. It's gonna be
anyway. Good. That's all the Preacher Paul's got to say for this message.
Bring your popcorn. It's gonna be a show here in a little while.
Absolutely.
All right. Good sermon, Paul. Coming to you live from Studio G in Hickman, Tennessee. I'm Rusty B.
And this is Paul Martin, and you're in the Huddle. Hut.
All right, Paul Martin. Preacher Paul. Been going back to church this week, Paul. It's been a...
Yes, sir, I have.
Been having revival, right?
Yes, sir. We've been having revival, and tonight made night 4 of 5, and tomorrow night is the 5th night. Brother Craig Green from Livingston's been coming down preaching, and if y'all ain't doing nothing, come out tomorrow night. Gordonsville United Methodist Church over by Gordonsville High School.
Easy to find. Got
6:30 start time. 6:30 start time, and Amanda Crawford's gonna do the special music tomorrow night.
She can sing. I've heard her sing before. Maybe there'll be some of that on the internet. They're gonna record all these, right? I watched one of them the other night for good.
Yeah, they've been recording every night.
Sanders. His rock and roll performance up there, man, he hammered on it.
And we've also got a young kid in there that's probably, I don't know, 8 to 11 years old, something. Her name's Cheyenne. She can really sing. She reminds me of a young Dolly Parton.
Well, that's good.
And she even wore cowboy boots tonight.
Cowgirl boots.
Cowgirl boots, yeah.
There you go. In her case, cowgirl boots.
But yeah.
You had a pretty good sermon and stuff. Like I can tell you was fired up tonight. You know, the Preacher Paul episode.
Yeah. And you know, the Satan, he kind of steered me away because I was dealing with some emotional stress. Because I don't know if y'all, well, I ain't told y'all, but I'm going to. A couple nights ago was my granny Birdie, which was the woman that raised me for the first 13 years of my life. She'd been dead now 20 years, so I've been going through a lot of emotional stress and everything with that. And Satan tried to use that against me tonight and try to tell me you broke down, just going back home. Don't go with the revival.
Well, the good thing about being a Christian, Paul, is you know that Granny Birdie
she's in heaven.
That's right. She's probably in a better place than you are.
But I think we as Christians got this false belief. They ain't nobody in heaven yet until Jesus brings the new Jerusalem back. And Jesus comes back. She's right now in the casket with all the other dead bodies. But
she'll rise again.
But one day when Jesus comes back, it says the graves are going to pop open and the dead in Christ shall rise, and we all go into heaven one day if we're saved.
That's right. If we're saved, that's the key to the whole thing.
But anyway, I went to church tonight. I didn't let Satan win, and it was a good revival, and I was blessed. And y'all will be too if you go.
Yeah. So get on out there and check that out. A couple more events coming up. We got the junior high playing tomorrow night.
Yes, sir. I believe they're at Jackson County tomorrow night in some kind of championship game.
Jackson County, or is that just where the championships play? Because I ain't looked.
I think they might play Jackson County again, but I ain't 100% about that.
And what happened in the first game with Jackson County? Did it beat us?
That was the homecoming last week, and Gordonsville Tigers were successful, like 22-14.
That's right. It's a close one, but I heard we had a few things go against us. You know, that we really could have blew that game open and just. Had a few misfortunate incidents, fumbling inside the 10 and stuff.
I wasn't even there, but I heard they run the Oompa Loompa for a score.
Did they run it for a score?
Well,
that play has been a blessing to Mac Petty's offense. I can say that.
It has. Holy Spirit works in mysterious ways.
That's right. It's been a real blessing for Petty, that one play. And anyway, we got a big game coming up Friday night against Monterey. We're going to talk about that here in just a few minutes. What we know about Monterey, what little we know about them, we've seen them on film, and don't look too bad, don't look too great. So they're one of them teams that if they show up to play football and want to ruin your homecoming, they're capable of doing it. So you gotta. They're
3-3, and we're 2-3. They got the same kid back that they had last year at running back, the little shrimpy dude,
he's little, but he's quick,
and he's quick. So you got to wrap him up and tackle him, or he could go the distance.
That's right. He's quick, and you got to tackle him.
Plus they've got a few good receivers, I heard, and the quarterback can throw it if he needs to. But he's probably not going to be your average deep thrower. He's probably just going to be one of these throw it out and the flat and do the old Mighty Martin flat pass. Mighty Martin flat pass.
Dial it up. Well, I'm gonna make a bold prediction here in a few minutes. I'm gonna hold that for just a few minutes. But
Rusty making one this week.
I got a bold prediction, and I'm gonna have to throw it out there for everybody. But I'm gonna make them wait.
All right.
First, I like to tell everybody what I got. Every week I try to change the picture in the background behind me. And what I got this week is, I believe that's the 1924 Gordonsville Tigers. And, I might move out of the way so you can see that here. There you go. Just want these fellas to know that there have been plenty before them. These guys didn't use no helmet. You know what I'm saying? If they did, it's just a little old sock or something they put over their head.
And my host over here showed me the picture before we went on air, and they kind of remind me of the Army Black Knights, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't know that they more numbers. They didn't care about, you was talking about me earlier.
Yeah, they didn't have names or numbers or anything else. They was about the team.
The only reason numbers were implemented was so the referee would know who to call the flag on, throw the flag on,
So I'm sure back in them days, they probably didn't even have a radio announcer. And if they did, they'd say, "Guy with the yellow shoes on is brought down by number 27, whoever that is."
These guys probably didn't even have shoes. You know, I mean, we're talking about 1924, Paul. This is right before the Great Depression.
Oh, okay. Then
So, I mean,
then they might have said guy with the big feet is brought down by.
Football might not be regulation size. You know what I'm saying? It might be a little too big, a little too small. It's probably made by the. I don't know. Maybe the Gwaltney or somebody living in that house next door over there. You know, they probably had them. You know, maybe sew up the uniform and stuff like that. Maybe she sold the football too. You know, they probably went out and killed a pig and got the skin, you know, dried it out and done all that good stuff. But I believe, if I ain't mistaken, maybe Pat Warren, I don't know if maybe his, it's a family thing. Maybe there's been a long line of radio announcers in his family line, you know, like, maybe he's a radio announcer. Maybe his dad was a radio announcer, and his daddy's daddy was a radio announcer, and his daddy's daddy's daddy was a radio announcer. So, you know, he may go back to 1924. We'll have to get there with him and ask him. What do you think? Is it possible?
It's possible.
What about the Williams, Keith and John? Maybe they're statisticians. Maybe they come from a long line of statisticians.
Could be.
You never know. We'll have to ask them guys that. Be sure to ask them that next time you see them. You know, if they're first generation, or if, you know, maybe it's been passed. That's something that's been passed down to them, because they got a lot of talent up there in the booth.
Well, I'm sure. When you bringing it on the show, when they watch the show, they'll hear it, and then they'll send comments about if they're first generation or the only generation or whatever.
Well, they do a good job in the booth up there. I love listening to them.
And they took our word at the last game, and no booms and bangs.
No booms and bangs. Pat did not want to get shot down there. And where was we at? Southeast Nashville.
Down Republic at the Crazy House.
So didn't want to take no chances. And
but to tell you the truth, it really wasn't all that bad.
They were actually a classy bunch of fans, you know, down there. And,
to be honest with you, we expected it to be bad, but it didn't turn out bad. It actually turned out to be
the only gripe I got is with the scoreboard. But you know, hey, maybe one day they get their own field.
Yeah, I didn't think it was all that bad of a facility, and the people didn't seem to be all that bad.
We had the human scoreboard here, Paul. You could ask him how much time was left, and he could almost tell you.
That's not true, but that's not true. But I did keep score.
At one time, you told me exactly how much time was left when I asked.
Well, it might have been a made-up time.
No, you told me exactly how much time was left. I think the horn sounded to go into the fourth quarter. I said, Paul, how much time's left?
And then I said 12 minutes.
So he nailed it. But can't fool Paul. He's a human math whiz.
Absolutely.
Human calculator.
Absolutely.
That's right. But anyway, Paul, we may take a quick commercial break real quick, and we'll come right back, and we're going to talk about Monterey and the keys to victory. Paul's got all the keys to victory this week on Monterey, and he's going to share those with us. Coming up. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Paul. You reached in the huddle.
Hey, man, Reno Bud here, man. Just calling in to tell y'all, man. Remember last year's episode, man? Had a good little singer on there. Let me think. I think about what her name is, man. I think it was Harvey June Van or something other like that, man. And a real good singer, pretty girl. And anyway, man, going back to that, you know, listening to her sing, she sang a lot of stuff on YouTube. I put all that on my iPod, you know, and I got that and I put it on repeat sometimes. You know, she got a good voice. Glad y'all introduced me. Uncle BS last year introduced me to Harvey June Van. So I had a lot of good hits, and, you know, sang that Poor Wildwood Flower, you know, and that's a good song, you know, to listen to. Kind of sad, on a sad note, you know, sometimes when you're down, depressed, you don't listen to something sad, you just listen to that, you know, you Poor Wildwood Flower. And I don't even know what a Wildwood Flower is, but it sounds good. I think Jim Carter even sang some of that. And I think, you know, what they did back in the 50s was, and I kind of wish they'd go back to this in country music, is take one song and just have everybody sing it and just say who does it better, you know, because that's who got the number one, was whoever sang that song better, you know. But now we got too much variety, and there's too much going on in country music, but there really ain't nothing going on, you know, other than tight jeans and t-shirts, and then pickup trucks and down by rivers and stuff, and drinking beer out of a Yeti, and can't everybody afford a Yeti? All these people singing about Yetis, and us poor folk out here in the trailer park can't even we can't even afford a Yeti. We gotta get to knock off Ozarks and stuff, or the Igloo. Ain't nothing wrong with a good old Igloo. But anyway, man, Harvey June Van, she can sing. Dated her niece once. Her niece, she's a little hippie girl, and didn't like to shave her legs and underarm stuff like that. Just straight up hippies would travel around and follow the Allman Brothers and stuff around. And she's a little hippie girl in the 70s. Might have been her niece or something other like that. She's kin to her somehow, though. She come up there on the mountain. But anyway, her real name was Minnie, named after Minnie Pearl, because Minnie wore them hats and stuff. So come from a long line of singers in that family. And anyway, just want to let y'all know, dated minivan, hippie minivan one time, and pretty good girl. She could sing too. Anyway, man, I was gonna tell you about a song I heard over the weekend, that Poor Wildwood Flyer. I listened to it, made me kind of sad after Vanderbilt and Alabama played, and it kind of, I'm just gonna explain kind of what that game looked like. It kind of looked like a tennis match, and it was just thinking about it, kind of looked like a tennis match where Roger Federer was playing maybe Ray Charles, and just Federer would just punch it in on his end, and then he never would get it back across the net. Charles wouldn't get it back across the net, because I don't think they ever crossed the 50 or the 40 or something other like that. And I was just real down in the dumps this weekend over that game. But all these NFL players, taking a knee. Only time you take a knee is when your coach told you to. You know what I'm saying? Back when I played ball, you just took a knee when you in the practice, whatever coach said, y'all take a knee or whatever, and everybody come in and take a knee, But I think, if you're going to protest something, maybe don't take a knee in front of the flag. But if you're going to act like a little girl out there, won't you do one of these little things that these ballerinas and dancers and stuff do? They do that little curtsy or whatever they call it, where they just, kind of do that. And you can put your hand over your heart, but curtsy and maybe protest that way. And maybe everything be all right, But regardless, man, gonna tell you, I played a little music too. Going back to Harvey June Van, I played a lot of music back in the day. Wasn't no good at it, but I was homeless, and I traded everything I had in. I went down there to the pawn shop. That's what you do in Nashville when you go broke, is you go to the pawn shop and you can pick up a guitar on the cheap, And I thought, man, I gotta come up with a way to make me a few dollars here and there, just to get back on my feet. So I bought me a guitar, and I learned real quick. On that first day, I get out there on the corner, and I tried to play and sing. And, I had me a sign up there, songs, $1, you can listen to me play. But this guy comes up, and he kind of started a trend. And that goes back to the NFL thing. That's all it is a trend. And that's what people do these days, is whatever's trending, But this guy started a trend with me. He said, listen, buddy, I'll give you $5 to stop playing, And so I kind of turned into like a homeless music mogul down there, and made a lot of money, and that's how I bought my trailer, and had a good down payment for that. But Harvey June Van, had this song one time. We're gonna play Monterey Friday night. Homecoming, gonna kick a tar out of them. Bring you popcorn. It's gonna be a show. But she had a song called "The Biggest Broken Heart in Town," and that's what they're gonna be singing all the way back to Monterey come Friday night. The biggest heartbreak in town, or biggest broken heart in town, something other like that. I don't even remember how it goes, but good song. Anyway, I'm gonna let you boys go, and don't forget, Friday night, if you're gonna protest the national anthem, do a curtsy. Don't kneel down, or I'll punch you in the throat. I'm gonna holler back at y'all.
I hear the sound of a mighty rushing wind, and it's closer now than it's ever been. I can almost hear the trumpets as Gabriel sounds his horn at the midnight cry when Jesus steps out. on a cloud to call his children. The dead in Christ shall rise to meet him in the air. And then those that remain, they'll be quickly changed at the midnight cry when Jesus comes again. I look around, I see prophecies fulfilling, and the signs are appearing everywhere.
You're off camera.
And I can almost hear the Father saying, "Son, go get my children." At the midnight cry, when Jesus comes again, when Jesus steps out on a cloud to call his children,
Sing it,
the
buddy.
dead in Christ shall rise to meet him in the air. And then those that remain, they'll be quickly changed at the midnight cry when Jesus comes again.
Atta boy. Good one. That's pretty good, Paul.
All right, welcome back to In the Huddle.
Hut. You didn't give me no hut.
Hut.
There we go.
All right, welcome back to In the Huddle. Heard from Reno Bunn. He said he dated Harvey June Van's cousin or niece or whoever she was, Minnie Van, a little redneck girl from up in Monterey.
Minnie Van, hippie girl. Didn't shave her leg.
Well, maybe she was a hippie redneck.
That's terrible. Following the Allman Brothers around, widespread panic. Whew, it's rough. Anyway, this segment we're going to talk a little bit about Monterey itself. Paul, you know how Monterey, how it was founded?
I have
It was
no
a
idea.
border. It was the border between the Cherokee and some other Indian tribe.
And the Swanee, wasn't it?
The Shawnee.
Shawnee.
Yeah.
That's
We
it,
talked about
Shawnee.
that, the Shawnee. I like to teach you a little bit about history. And at Standing Stone Park, I was actually an inn up there, whatever, like one of the first people that came there. Neat little town. If you ever go up there to Standing Stone State, I've camped there a few times. It's a pretty neat little town.
And another thing about Monterey, they've got a wonderful shoe store.
Where would that be?
Up there in Monterey somewhere.
Phillips Shoes?
Is that what it's
I
called?
don't know.
I just know they got a wonderful shoe store up there.
Dude, is that where your shoes came from, Monterey?
It is, and courtesy of your mom and dad.
That's right. Monterey,
So I got my shoes from up there, so they are
I know
good.
the name of that shoe store, and I can't think of it.
They are good for something.
Yeah, well, it's a good little place, good little town. If you need some shoes, drive on up. They'll fix you up. Maybe they have all brands, I think, even in that store.
Mm-hmm.
From what I hear, I need to go check it out myself one day.
Yep.
But regardless, we're going to talk a little bit about Monterey football and what little we know about them. We know a little bit. We watched some a little bit of film on them.
Yeah, they run shotgun spread for the most part, from what
For the
we're
most
seeing.
part. I told you earlier I was going to make a bold prediction. I'm just going to go ahead and give you my bold prediction. If we have to kick the ball to Monterey and they get the ball first, you know what they're going to do?
What?
The exact same thing they did last year. And, typically they'll do this and save it for those teams that, pretty good football teams, they're going to save it for them. And they're going to just do a little play action and try to hit a guy over the top. And that's what I'm going to predict. If we have to kick the ball to them, their first play from scrimmage, they're going to try to get behind us, just like they did last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked last year. Would they go up 7-0 on us, 6-0, something like that?
Yeah.
And scored early. And there ain't much you can do about that. You're asleep at the beginning of the game. That's what's going to happen, kids. So if you're in the secondary, be alert, because they are going to try to hit you over the top and get behind you.
Well, he's making that bold prediction about Monterey. So I'm gonna make a bold prediction about Gordonsville and the Gordonsville defense at that. Sometime or another in that ball game Friday night, one of our defenders is gonna get a strip sack and recover a fumble. You just take it to the bank, friends.
Strip sack. I'm gonna go with an interception for 6. Somebody's gonna get one. I just have a feeling.
Strip sack.
I tell you, I'm not a coach. Don't know what they're going to do. I hadn't watched them practice any this weekend, but Monterey's going to air this football out. We know that.
Probably going to be a lot of out routes and flat passes and whatnot. A lot
of mid-range passes, 5-10 yards downfield, which the typical passing team.
Plus they got a running back from last year, a little 140-pounder or whatever he weighs.
That's a pretty shifty
and he can shift on a dime. I remember him last year, and he had 2 touchdowns, I think, or maybe 1 touchdown. I don't remember, but he ran hard, and you're going to have to get really low to take this guy down because he's only about 5'3".
Yeah, he's a pretty quick little kid, and he's going to run hard. He don't quit.
You're absolutely right.
He's going to run hard the whole game too. So
keys to victory.
My key to victory is when you're playing a passing team. You know my theory.
Get to the quarterback.
The best way to stop a good passing game is to kill the quarterback. Kill the guy throwing it. Get to him.
My key to victory is just use our size advantage to our advantage because these guys aren't very big, they're not very big, so there's no reason why we shouldn't push these guys around and control the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that's key to victory in any game.
Control the line of scrimmage, basically.
And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Football is as simple as blocking and tackling. Whoever does that the best usually wins the football game.
You're absolutely right. And it's all in the trenches.
Starts right there in the trenches. We've got a good running back that's gonna move the football for us. The big line gonna move some people out of there. I think we've had holes all year long. Getting through them hadn't really been a big problem. Where we need to work the most is the passing game, and I think we're gonna have to develop at least a hint of a passing game before we hit the playoffs. That's just something we're only one dimensional, and we're gonna have to work on that. And we got the kids that are capable of doing it. And I think one of the main things is confidence. You got to have confidence. Anything you do.
Of course, going in this game, when you got Braxton, who's up to 859 yards, I think it is.
859. Then how many carries?
Don't know about that, but when you got a kid that's up to 859 yards, bottom line, you feed him every chance you get to feed him because the guys. He's really close to 1,000 yards through 5 games.
1,000-yard mark 6 games in? Is it 6 games?
Yeah,
what's our record right now?
We're 2-3, and yes, he does get the 1,000 this week.
You think he hits the 1,000?
Because he needs 141, and he will get it.
140, the human calculator.
But something I think is going to be key, and I don't think we'll have a whole lot of trouble with it.
You don't get that many yards if nobody's blocking. So,
right. Something I think is going to be key, though, this week, because typically a lot of the years it's been close games, so extra point kicking is going to be big. Don't leave any points on the field. Put them through there because you never know what 2 extra points might mean. It could be a 14-12 kind of game.
The kids only missed 1, and I remember a time in Gordonsville when we couldn't make 1, so we had to go for 2. So that's accumulating some points. If you take how many touchdowns we got, Braxton had 5.
Braxton is up to 10 touchdowns. I've done my research. He's got 10.
He had 5 of those in one game.
Yep.
So you take those 10 touchdowns, and he's got 9 extra points off of that. I think he may not have 9. He may have 8.
He's got
we went for 2.
He's got 8 because we went for 2. Yeah.
That's 8 points. We missed 1, and then we've the rest of them have been good. He's 1 for 1 on field goals. So I think get that kicker in the game. If you get down there and can't punch it in, get the kicker involved. Let him kick one.
Another thing I like to see is you got to protect. You got to protect on the punt team too. We got to be able to punt the ball well, and I don't think we'll have a whole lot of trouble with it.
Punting
could be key. Punting could be key in this game too. We need to get the punts off, and we need to get as much distance as we can get on them.
Exactly. I don't think there's a better punter in 1A football right now.
Me neither.
He's punting the heck out of the ball. So
kickoff return team. Didn't you find out that our return man in a B team game, Chris Welsh, might have got a little stung up.
I think he had a little ankle issue. We played our JV went to Watertown Monday evening, played them a little JV game, and
Is he going to be able to play Friday night?
I don't know. I don't know anything about that other than my son come home and told me he had an ankle trouble.
If he can't go, who's the backup return man on his side?
I don't know. We got some Bill Washer going to step back there and turn it. We got some kids. We got some kids that can step back there. It's got a little bit of speed that, that's kind of what you look for in a return man. We got several fast kids on that football team.
So shouldn't have a lot of trouble throwing somebody back there in his spot if he can't go.
Yeah, I mean, of course you don't want Braxton to get back there and run the football unless you have typically in single A football. It's just single A football. You put your best running back there. You know what I'm saying, and let him return kicks. But when you do that, they don't kick you the football. You get where I'm going with that?
Absolutely.
I mean, in all honesty, why kick the guy the football? So I mean, if you do put him back there, you're essentially taking him out of the play regardless. So why even risk getting him hurt? And I understand that move, but I say we could put some kids back there. The Halliburton kid, he's got some wheels. Put somebody back there with some speed. McKinley, was he the other return man, right?
Yeah.
He's got some wheels, and you got little Chris Ray. He's got some wheels.
Yeah. What about Skyson Washer? Can he go back there and return one?
Skyson can run. I'd say you take some of these kids. You got kids that play on both sides, not necessarily on both sides of the football. We got a lot of athletes that just play one side.
Swicegood, could he return it?
I think, in all honesty, Swicegood probably could, but I think Swicegood's got that defensive mentality. If I were picking a defense, he'd be on my defense. He's a defensive mentality player. That's all you can say.
And you'd say
to hurt somebody.
And you'd say the same about Austin Fan, maybe.
About Austin Fan, I think he's got a defensive mentality.
What about a Dalton Stallings? Could he go back deep?
He could. Dalton's one of them kids that can play anywhere. Like I said, I say we put somebody back there with some wheels.
Maybe a Halliburton back there.
And then all hopes, and what I'm hoping is that we go out there and Welch is fine, and maybe just twist his ankle a little bit, and that's the extent of it. And just precautionary, letting him sit
But
out
anyhow,
in the
we
JV
just
game.
thought we would share that information with you that he twisted his ankle during a JV game at Watertown.
Banged up a little bit, but those things happen when you play football, and you got to have other kids step up.
But I reckon that's about the only injury we've heard of, ain't it?
Take one of them kids on the sideline that's fresh, and let him play some football.
Is that the only injury we got to speak of, or is there maybe another one or two?
Not that I know of. Yes, that's the only one that I'm sure there's, kids get banged up during practice or whatever, but they don't practice real physically through the week anymore. Like I said, if you do, you get kids hurt and everything else, and it's just,
Well, what's the talk around the town? Have we had a good week of practice, or has anybody really said anything?
I get most of my information from my son.
Well, has he said anything about practice?
I ask him every day, son, how'd practice go? Did you have fun? That's the first thing I always ask him, you have fun? Because that's ultimately, that's what high school football is about.
And what's his reply?
And he always says, yeah. And, and he tells me about some changes we made. And sometimes I think they're good changes and agree with them. And sometimes I'm skeptical, but I'm a fan and I want to know, I like to know what's going on. Like anybody else, and these coaches, they see a lot more than I do.
Well, I heard recently the coaches was going to call like a meeting or something. Did they call it?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, maybe
I
that's.
don't know where you heard that.
Well, I thought I'd seen something on Facebook or something about maybe a meeting, but maybe they didn't call it.
I don't know nothing about a meeting, but I'm sure they meet every week.
Yeah,
but they need to meet every day and have a conversation. It's part of the job.
Right.
But as far as being able to match up with Monterey, I think we match up well with them, and I think I'm gonna tip the advantage to
Big Blue.
To the Big Blue.
Of course,
what I've seen.
Of course, like you said earlier,
couple games, our record's 2-3. But when you look at who you've really been beat by,
some of the best.
We've been beat by some top teams.
I mean, because you look at Watertown, they hadn't lost over 2 games, and they beat Forest last week like 8-7, and they beat Cascade, and they beat DeKalb, and they beat somebody, and they beat us, I guess. So they're like 4-1 or 2 or something. So
who's that?
Watertown. Yeah. So they've got a good
they
record.
Played a couple weeks there without their quarterback, and and that's the week after us. They take a loss, I think, maybe.
I believe they're like 4-2, and then our other loss.
So I mean, in all honesty, I think we've been beat by some good football teams.
And then Smith County,
County
beat us, and last week was their first loss. They lost by a field goal, so they got a good football team.
When you look down the road, you'll be able to look back when you get to the end of this season, and you'll look back and you'll see that you're going to have the teams like the Trousdale County. They're liable to be playing on December 1st up in Cookville. I mean, they got that good of a football team. They got their only loss. Well, they actually lost two. They lost
Macon County and Friendship.
And Friendship. Friendship's one of those teams that they're going to be there in Cookville. That's just the way it is.
And you may even expect Macon County for a second or third round.
Macon County is in the thing with Carthage. And I'm going to throw this out there. Smith County going into the season, they pretty much know the path to victory is through Alcoa. And even some of those teams from Nashville, the Pearl Cones, I don't know if they're 4A now or what, but when you take those teams and throw them in the mix, you got to step up and play some football.
What's your prediction for Smith County? About a second or third round, maybe?
Well, I think, after I was really expecting Smith County to beat Macon County pretty easy. I really was.
And they did.
And, no.
It was like 39 to 22 or something.
I was talking about Livingston. Was it?
Yeah, they was playing Livingston. They wound up losing 16-13.
They may be one of these Butch Jones situations where they had to come back. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you get in those games where there ain't much you can do about it.
And this week they'll play Sequatchie, which will be another tough game for them.
Be a tough game for them and a good measuring stick. When you look down the road.
But looking at it, that goes to prove that games ain't played on paper. Because Smith County might have been the favorite and they on their homecoming and they didn't get it done.
Yeah, but you take the team like Macon County, they've really stepped up the last couple of weeks and start playing good football. And sometimes that happens to a team. After they've been beat a time or two, they got a kid up there, that Carlisle kid. He's as good of a athlete as you're going to see playing football.
And he's already recruited to Tennessee Tech, I heard.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's a heck of an athlete. And you get a kid like that, and he turns it on in a game with a little bit of help, and you got to, in these smaller 1, 2, and 3A football, they can beat anybody that they are competing against. You don't see a whole lot of teams from 1, 2, and 3 playing 5 and 6A teams. So, the measuring stick for that is kind of, you don't really get to see them play the big teams. And you take somebody like Trousdale that went down and played Lebanon. Lebanon's actually turned it on, started playing good football. Another coach from the Smith County area, Chuck Gentry, is coaching Lebanon.
I heard Jamie Angel's down there too.
Jamie's back down there, and so is Justin. And who else is down there? Sean Fry, you know him? He played at Carthage, Smith County.
Oh, he's at Lebanon?
He's at Lebanon. So, I mean, they got a lot of Smith County coaches. And, we know football in Smith County is good football. We teach good football. And Smith County, Gordonsville, over years, had some of the top programs in the state, especially the mid-state. So, that being said, we know they're going to be coached well. So, to beat a team like Lebanon, of course, they beat them early on. Charles's got a good football team. When you can go in there and play a 6A school and beat them. That's all you can say. So, we know we got beat by a good football team is the point I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
Now, you take, I'm trying to think of the other loss, Watertown. I really look back and I say if we run the football and we line up just like we're doing now, we changed our offense that second week and got an I formation. If we do that week 1, we're 3-2 instead of 2-3 and got that extra victory. And, that helps a whole lot when it comes to playoff time if you get in a tiebreaker situation, because we know we have to win this game Friday night against Monterey. It's a have to.
You're absolutely
right.
Not
to get into the playoffs, but to set yourself in the right. When you go to Nashville, when you get in traffic, this is why I'm going to explain the playoffs. When you go to Nashville, you got 4 lanes you can get in. All right? If you get in the right lane, that everybody's not getting on and off an exit. If you get in that right lane over here to the right, you're going to be speeding up and slowing down constantly. If you get over here in the good lane, in the fast lane, you can mojo right on through and not have much problems. pending a disaster.
Yeah, and that's what the playoffs is like. If you get in the number 1 seed lane, then it'll be a lot easier than if you get over there in the number 4 seed where all the traffic is.
In the right position to do that. All right, Paul, looking at Monterey Friday night, you got any bold predictions? Other than the interception or the fumble.
The strip sack.
The strip sack, no scoop and score.
What do you want me to do? Give you like a final score?
Well, I mean, yeah.
All right, then Paul Martin's final score prediction is the Tigers 42 and the Monterey Wildcats 14.
14? You gonna give them 14?
Yeah, they got lucky on play action, and then that little tailback got loose on one, but 42-14.
I'm gonna have 2 score predictions this week, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Why?
If our running game's gonna show up, I know that. I've said that all year, and our running game's gonna be there. If our running game is all we can rely on, I'm going to guess about 42-6. All right? If our passing game shows up, I'm going to make it about 49-6. Because we're still waiting on Paul to get that hot dog with a scoring touchdown. And I promise you, I will carry on Anthony's Earl Stallings. What do we call him, Earl? You know Anthony. What was his name? Earl. Was that what we called him?
Yeah, Earl Stallings.
We didn't know his name, so we just called
him. So you'll carry that on if he throws a touchdown pass. You will get a hot dog.
I'll keep up his bargain. I'll buy you a hot dog if we throw a touchdown pass.
All right.
And I'll buy myself one. When you go get yours, you got to bring me one back.
Okay.
But just all around, I think we got the upper hand on Monterey. We just got to do it. You got to show up and play football. And you're going to have a lot of distraction with homecoming. We got the parade coming up Friday at
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. Be there. Paul's made a lot of these magnets that's going on these pretty little cars. And he's going to be there to check it all out. Paul, are you going to be the Grand Marshal this year?
I don't know. I've got like 3 people that said I need to get out front and march on March, so who knows what I might do.
Maybe a lot of people don't know this story, but Paul last year wasn't invited to be the Grand Marshal. He just kind of took it upon himself to get out in front of the band and start leading. And
then we won the game, and everybody just got kind of excited. And it's like, but it didn't show up in the video. But that's all right because I didn't really care. I didn't really care about the glory anyway. I was just having fun.
Paul having fun. So must win, not a must win, but a need to win. Bad,
right? Because we're what are we?
We're undefeated. We're 2-0. They're 1-1.
Yeah, and Salina's 3-0. I think the region. So we got to keep pace with the Bulldogs.
Let me look. I can look this up real quick.
We got to keep pace with the Bulldogs.
3-0. Do they got a region game Friday night?
Don't think so. I think they're playing somebody else. Unless they're playing Pickett County.
No, it says on September 29th they play Joe Burns.
So next up's Joe Burns for them?
Joe Burns. And that's for Clay County. So they got potential to go 4-0. They'll still be at the top in the newspapers and all that. But Monterey plays us, of course, and they're 1-1. Let's see who they've been beat by. We looked at this earlier.
Monterey's been beat by Mount Pleasant and Midway.
Midway beat them 7-6.
And then Salina 22-20.
Salina. So they've kind of set the bar close with Salina there. We're gonna have to get in there and beat them. We need to win this game.
Absolutely.
So just to keep pace with we got to keep pace with Clay County. That's all you can say.
You got any Monterey stories from when you played? Everybody likes these stories, and believe it or not, I do have a Monterey story.
Well, I tell you what, you tell your Monterey story first, or I'll tell mine. You want me to tell mine first?
Well, mine's short, so I'll go first.
Mine's pretty short.
My Monterey story is the only time in my high school career that I ever got pancaked. They lined me up on this center that was about 220 pounds, and he put me on my back. So I got pancaked. But other than that, I shot through the line like a man possessed the other place because anybody knows old Paul Martin knows that he doesn't like getting pancaked. But I got through the line the rest of the times. But I did get pancaked once versus them.
People may have heard my Monterey story before. Okay. I've told it before. I've told several people. When I was playing Monterey, I was playing defensive end. All right, they played a wing tee. I was playing defensive end, and they had a kid with one leg. All right, And you got to respect the kid with one leg that's out there playing football. And, of course, I got a big heart, you know. I didn't want to hit the kid with one leg. He lined up at tight end, and he was blocking me, and I just kind of shunned him out of my way and make a tackle or whatever. And I remember getting pulled out on the second play of the game. Somebody come in, I thought, Lord, what's going on? What have I done? You know, you always did something wrong when you got pulled out of the game when I played. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I go to the sideline, and Coach Wills looks me dead in the eye, and he says, Burton, is he wearing helmet and a shoulder pad? I said, yes, sir. He said, then hit him. You know, so I remember, he sent me back into the game, and I was so jacked up. You know, my coach was wanting me to, no mercy. That's just the way it was, and he wanted to prove to me that kid was tough, and he knew that kid was probably tougher than I was, being out there playing with one leg. And like I said, you got to respect somebody like that. But looking back, I was in high school, I didn't know that. But I promise, if I could have, I would have ripped the leg off, and I wanted to take it back to Coach Wills as like a gift or something.
He would have wanted to do it kind of like in the Wizard of Oz when man behind the curtain said, "Go get that witch's broom and bring it back to me." He would have wanted to go get the broom and bring it to Coach Wills as a souvenir.
Sometimes the coach has got to motivate a kid a little bit, and that was my motivation, was getting pulled out of the game on the second play of the game and asking me that question, and.
Yeah.
So that's just the way it goes.
And you hit him from the rest game on.
I did. I wore him out. I had fun that night. But every time I'd knock him down, I'd pick him up. Come on, let's go again. And I think we ended up, I don't think Monterey ever beat us. I think it was 40-0. In all honesty, I think it was 40-0 my senior year. And I know they never beat us any of the other years. But I just remember being so heartbroken one year when Monterey did beat us, and I believe you were.
Don't tell that story.
Were you a part of that team?
Don't tell that story because
do you know how devastated I was?
My team was the very first team to ever lose to Monterey in the history of Gordonsville football, and the year was 2000 at Monterey High School. To tell you the truth,
never beat us.
To tell you the truth, we ought to just smear the ground with them, and we go down there and get beat 16-12, and all their fans, are still heartbroken to this day. And I had to make up for it. I had to make up for it, falling and crashing a sign and winning our fans back.
Hey, that was longer than the 9-year streak. You know what I'm saying? We had a streak going, and you broke it. Your team broke it.
Yeah, I'm just shame.
I remember going to that game, and I was just so devastated driving home. I didn't want to even talk to my wife, I don't think. I was like, just shut up.
You probably said if my buddy Paul Martin had been out there, it would have been different.
No, I just, I was trying to figure out what happened,
I didn't get to play in that game. I don't know why, but I didn't.
Remember Monterey throwing rocks at our bus one year when we beat them. It was probably my senior year. When we beat them, they were the fans were throwing rocks at our buses. So
fact is, these ain't the most nicest fans that you can come across.
Monterey wants to win football games. You can tell it.
Yeah, and I remember last year their coach was kind of fussing and arguing with the officials out there, and I thought he was gonna get tossed out of the game.
He almost got tossed
because he was all static, all jacked up.
Yeah, he was fired up over something, and we never did figure out what he was fired up over.
No, but they're a hostile bunch. So
I know we scored. And he got kind of mad, I guess. I don't know. Regardless, Paul, we'll be back here same time next week. Get out to the parade Friday. Bring your popcorn.
Gonna be a show.
It's gonna be a show, and we'll see you next week. Who we got next week?
After Monterey, we'll have Pickett County at Pickett.
At Pickett. Oh God. I don't even want to drive.
I don't either. I'm about the notion not doing a show and not going down there either for that one.
We're gonna do the show.
Okay, we'll do the show, but I'm about the notion not going down there to that baseball field.
Hit up Revival if you got all kind of money. Hit up Revival
tomorrow night, 6:30.
Revival, and then you're gonna go to the junior high game.
You take your pick. Go to one though. You either go to Revival or you go to junior high. Take your pick.
In Jackson County, right?
Right.
And then Friday night, you're going to come out to homecoming. Starts at 6 or 6:30. Parade starts at 2.
Right.
Friday night.
Right.
And then I guess that's it. Saturday, who's the big orange play?
They'll play Georgia.
Georgia Bulldogs. That'll be a good game.
And don't forget at the homecoming game to brood up.
Brood up. Got to brood up. Vanderbilt plays. They go to the butthole of Florida.
They're going to be playing Florida.
They're going right down the butt crack of Florida in Gainesville.
And Alabama is playing Gabe Angel's team, the Ole Miss Rebels.
Alabama ain't had good luck against Ole Miss the last couple of years.
And he's a redshirt freshman, I think. He may be playing next year, but he hadn't really took a snap this year. But look for Gabe to hit the field next year, maybe.
I'd like to see him do it. Well, all right. I guess we'll see you same time, same place next week.
All right. Until we see you next week, y'all have a good week, and we'll see you then.
Hut.
Hut.